This video may contain what could be considered attorney advertising under the rules of your state. This video is for information purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice. If you have a legal problem, it's vital for you to seek out and talk to a licensed attorney for advice. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. My name is Chris Simmons, attorney at law, and today we're going to talk about what to do and your rights when stopped, arrested, or detained by the police. Now, I want to preface this entire video by saying that the Fifth Amendment is an amazing thing that really gets an undeserved bad reputation. But let me back up. If you're stopped, arrested, or detained, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to know why you are being stopped, the right to know why you are being detained or arrested. You have the right, and I encourage you to use it, to speak to an attorney. You also have the right to not sign anything. And in fact, I encourage you to speak with your attorney before you sign anything that ICE or the police may give you. And I'll explain why in a bit. Do not run. Walk calmly if the police say that you're not being detained or arrested. You may walk peacefully away. Do not run, do not fight, do not carry any false documents. Always carry, if you're an immigrant, your valid U.S. immigration papers. Do not lie about where you are from. Do not falsely claim to be a U.S. citizen. These are just some of the tips and general information that you will need, and let me explain each of these in a bit of detail. First of all, I want to explain why you shouldn't talk, why you shouldn't sign anything without an attorney. Now, very simply, anything you say to the police can be used against you. It can't be used for you, but it can be used against you. And that's because anything for you would be considered hearsay. Hearsay is inadmissible. It's not admissible as evidence. Anything you say that can be used against you is an admission, and that can be used. But let's say you know you didn't do anything wrong and you're speaking the entire truth. Well, if, for instance, the case goes to trial and a police officer innocently, not with malice, but innocently, misremembers what they asked you, then they can use your honest answer to paint a bad picture of you. For example, the best and most easy example would be the police pick you up because you are a suspect in a murder. The police asks you, did you shoot this person? And your response is simply, I've never held a gun in my life. Of course I didn't shoot the person. But at trial, they bring that police officer, and through no fault of his own, simply because he misremembered the question, they ask him, was there anything that was strange? He may come up with, yeah, he mentioned he'd never held a gun in his life, but I'd only asked him if he'd killed the person. I never mentioned shooting. It's an innocent mistake, but your truthful answer may be used to convict you. Now, that alone may not be enough, but it doesn't help you. Nothing you say to the police will help you. So don't talk. Use your right to remain silent. Talk to your attorney. If you're interviewed, if you're questioned, write down everything that happened in detail and give it to your attorney the moment you can. Next, I want to talk about don't lie. Don't lie about your immigration status. Don't give false papers. Don't lie about being a U.S. citizen. The reason is simple. Even if you are an undocumented immigrant. If you ever in your entire life want to potentially become a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident or anything else, the lies and what you may tell to police may be used against you later on in life. Let me demonstrate. You were picked up in this scenario at a raid. You are a documented immigrant, but being afraid, you're here completely legal, but you're afraid that you're going to be deported because you will be misinterpreted to be undocumented. And in your fear, you say, no, I'm a U.S. citizen. Completely out of fear, you didn't mean to say it, but it came out. You find a couple years later, you get an immigrant visa. You become a little bit later, you're eligible to become a U.S. citizen. You aren't deported. But when you're filing out all the paperwork about being a U.S. citizen, there will be some questions about whether you've ever lied about your immigration status, and that one lie can mean the entire naturalization process fails. But let's say that you don't remember it, that you didn't think you lied, you honestly fill it out thinking, for completely ignoring that. Everything goes through, you become a U.S. citizen. 15 years later, after you've been a citizen for 15 years, somehow it comes out that you lied about being a U.S. citizen when you were deported some 25 years ago. And that means you lied getting your U.S. citizenship. You lied during the naturalization process. Well, now they can revoke your citizenship, despite you being a citizen for 15 years, because you lied on the forms to get citizenship. That is the importance of never lying, and that is also why I say, do not tell the police anything. Remain silent. Talk to your attorney before you ever talk to a police officer. Nothing you say to a police officer will ever help you. So, we've went through most of that. What else do you have a right to? You have the right to know why you're being arrested. Again, my recommendation is to cooperate. Don't speak, but cooperate. It's safer, it causes less problems, and there's nothing that you can do or say that will keep you from being arrested. If a police officer is going to arrest you, they will arrest you. There's nothing you can say or do that will keep them from arresting you. Very simply, if you cooperate, it becomes a bit less of a struggle. And I'm going to reiterate it again, but don't talk. If they have you sign anything, or if they offer to have you sign anything, don't sign it. You may be signing your rights away. You may be signing away your right to certain, if you're an immigrant, removal and deportation ways of getting around it. Ways of getting around deportation and removal processes. If you sign anything, you may be signing away your rights. You really must talk to an attorney before you sign anything. You are under no obligation to sign anything. And in fact, think of it this way. If you are going to end up being deported, if you are going to end up going to jail, what good does it do for you to sign things immediately? You know you will be deported. You know you will be in jail. Why not talk to an attorney first and see if you can get a better deal? Maybe there's a way out of it. But even if there isn't, What's the harm in waiting a few hours, a few days, talking to an attorney before you ever sign anything? Sometimes you can't afford an attorney, I understand, but still, even then, I would give it some time. Make sure that there is no way you can talk to an attorney before you can do that. Finally, I want to talk, you still have basic human rights. If you're an immigrant, you have the right, if you choose, to contact your consulate. If you want to exercise that right, please do so. If you don't, for whatever reason, understand that it is still your right. Your foreign consulate, depending on where you're from, may assist you. They may not. Again, it all depends on your consulate, on your foreign country's relation with the United States. Be aware of your right, though. Don't let police mistreat you. Anything that's done to you that you may think of as mistreatment, write down and tell your attorney. You have rights. And I preface this entire video on the Fifth Amendment is a beautiful thing. The Fifth Amendment is your right not to incriminate yourself. And even truthful things, 100% truthful things that you don't think could ever be used to convict you, can still be used against you. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right not to incriminate yourself, even when you don't think anything could incriminate you. Exercise those rights. Remember those rights. Don't lie to the police. Don't sign anything. Don't talk. Get an attorney as soon as you can and ensure that everything you do is done safely, is done with precaution. Don't run. Don't fight. Cooperate. Get an attorney and try and deal with this as quickly and peacefully as possible. I hope that you never have to use this advice. I hope you never have to use this information. But if you do, I wish you the best of luck. I hope that you remember this, and I hope that I'll see you in future discussions.